Chapter 1. See through, stay silent. Jordan, starlight flooded the sky. Don't wait up, go to bed without me. Lucas stepped out of the bathroom in a freshly pressed captain's uniform. Josie was smoothing the quilt, her hands stilled at his words. York going out this late? He gave a flat hum and fastened his cuff buttons. Something came up. A tiny knot tightened in Josie's chest. What could demand attention at this hour, right after a late-night flight? She watched him slide the plain silver band from his left ring finger and slip it into his pocket as if she weren't there. Wisely, she swallowed the question. 7 years together had taught her that seeing through without speaking kept the peace. Come home early, she said hoarsely, bending to fetch his shoes from the doorway. Lucas noticed the fine lines at the corners of her eyes and frowned. There's a new box of sheet masks in the cabinet. Make time to take care of yourself. Barely 26, she looked 35, the spark had died for him long ago. She watched him leave, heard the elevator doors shut, then closed the door and forced the sourness back down her throat. For 2 years every landing had left its dust on her, only for him to wash clean and walk away toward someone else. She knew exactly where he was headed, the chatter around Baycrest had reached her ears, only to drift out the other. After a shower she sat on the couch with a medical text, too restless to sleep, waiting. Lucas was a sterling captain, she was Baycrest's airport ER doctor. One ruled the sky, one guarded the ground, both serving every passenger. Only he served their love with leftovers. She thought of how he'd changed and bitterness welled up, refusing to fade. At 4 a.m., Key scraped the lock. Lucas flicked on the light and jumped at the sight of Josie in white, motionless on the sofa. What the hell, sitting here in the dark trying to scare me? I only forgot to switch the light on while I waited. She closed the book she hadn't opened and rose. A woman's perfume drifted from him, faint but unmistakable. Once he'd at least tried to hide it, now he flaunted it. Told York not to wait. York asked for trouble. He strode into the study. His chill wrapped around her, she stood frozen. Years ago his late returns had drawn tenderness, time had sanded that down to contempt. He could meet her eyes without feeling, she couldn't meet his without bleeding. Still dazed, she watched him reappear holding a bank card. $50,000, your birthday is pin, he said, tone flat. Josie's heart skipped, a crack seemed to mend. So York still today is my birthday. She never finished. His next words struck like lightning. I'm getting married. Her mind went white, she stared, every muscle rigid. He meant himself, not the two of them. So? Her throat felt crushed. He drew out the worn plain band and laid it beside the card on the coffee table. Let's break up. Chapter 2. Non-marriage believer. Marriage. Breakup. Ants seemed to gnaw Josie's skull, words failed her. The card she thought was a birthday gift turned out to be a parting one. 7 years exchanged for 2 careless syllables. Didn't York swear York were a non-marriage believer? Her thoughts tangled. She'd tolerated the rumors, certain he'd tire of his flings, never that he'd reach the altar with someone else. I meant it then, I mean this now. Lucas sat, long fingers drumming the sofa arm as if discussing the weather. Josie felt her heart cool degree by degree. So I never made York want marriage, another woman does, and my 7 years count for nothing, she rasped. He frowned. It's just a breakup. Stop acting tragic. He pulled her onto his lap and traced her tear-streaked cheek with the same hand that controlled life and death decisions at 40,000 feet. Tenderness paired with cruelty left her floundering like a fish drowning in air. Take a month to adjust, we part officially next month. He kissed her trembling lips. Her heart split. She tore free. A sharp crack, her palm met his cheek. Eyes red, hand shaking, she cried, York can fall for someone else, Lucas, but don't profane what we had. He wiped the lingering warmth from his mouth, strode to the door, and slammed it behind him. He'd offered an amicable split, she'd refused. End of negotiation. The room lay hollow, cold wrapping her in July heat. They'd survived year 3, succumbed to year 7. She'd thought the itch would pass, it passed like a blade. She drifted until dawn, then the alarm screamed duty. She splashed cold water on her face, ordered herself to focus. The plain silver band on her right finger caught her eye, the token of their first anniversary. She eased it off, the pale stripe underneath the only remnant of their time. Baycrest. Concealer masked her exhaustion, the white coat went on. A tiny airport medical center facing a vast terminal. One walkie-talkie, one trauma bag, her daily armor. She checked every label, duty overriding heartbreak. A call crackled, passenger collapsing at the gate. Josie sprinted with the bag. Before she could ask where, a captain in uniform strode toward her carrying a petite woman in sequined sunglasses. Baycrest's brand, lately trending on Instagram, Tara. Chapter 3. X a new flame. Reporters snapped and fired questions. Sterling, why panic over Emery's fever? She claimed a civilian boyfriend. Are you him? That rock on her finger your gift? Lucas halted beside Josie, eyes flicking once over her white coat, and answered. Emery is my fiancé, the wedding's soon. Gasps all around, Josie nearly buckled. The woman who had stolen Lucas's heart these past 2 years turned out to be her? The concourse bustled around her, but Josie didn't hear a single word. Security held the reporters back while Lucas carried Tara and followed Josie into the airport medical center. Temp of 103, she needs a hospital workup. Josie kept her voice clipped as she logged the findings. Tara nestled against Lucas, soft and limp as silk. Go fly, Sterling. Work comes first. I'll catch your next leg. Lucas stroked her hair. Take care of yourself. Wait for me. Then he turned to Josie, the tenderness in his eyes icing over. Dr. Rowan, my fiancé is in your hands. Josie's fingers tightened around the digital thermometer, she bit her lip until it throbbed. They'd broken up yesterday, and today he could calmly ask his ex to babysit his new fling. Impressive. Once Lucas left, Josie bent over the chart without a word. A manicured porcelain hand flashed in, blocking her pen. I've been dying to meet York. Thought a creative entrance might be fun. Hope I'm not disturbing Dr. Rowan. Tara's voice was syrupy. From her purse she produced a heat patch and tossed it onto the counter. Josie looked up, brows knitting. Actress indeed. Method acting complete with prop fever. If there's no fever, please see yourself out. I'm on the clock. Dash. Tara cut her off, red lips curving. I heard Sterling dated York 7 years and never considered marriage. I almost feel sorry for York. She sighed, flashing the diamond on her left hand, relish creeping in. 7 months with me and he's buying rings and a marital mansion. Comparing us, I honestly think York got the raw end. Josie's lashes quivered, the barb had found its mark. Emery, don't interfere with my work. She fought to keep her tone level. Tara arched a brow and slid a bank card across the chart. Find another job. I don't like sand in my eyes, and my future husband's ex working the same terminal is grit I won't tolerate. Josie stared, then gave a thin smile. If York hate grit, make Lucas switch airports. Looking at him makes me nauseous. She was the one dumped, now she had to quit. Absurd. Tara's fake smile evaporated. I'm paying York as a courtesy. Refuse it and I'll bury York. She rose on her stilettos, chin high, and swanned toward the door. Halfway out she paused, eyes glinting, glancing back with contempt. My mother stole your father, I can steal your man. How does it feel, Josie being the permanent loser? Chapter 4, Keep Your Distance. The words had barely landed when Josie's face drained of color, her pen hand trembling. Ink bled into a black bloom on the page, spreading larger and larger. An illegitimate who couldn't even take the Rowan name after 10 years in the house. What gives York the right to snarl at me? Each word was chipped ice. Tara's cheeks splotched, the truth stung. She sniffed, voice shrill. I erased York from the family tree and made Sterling toss York like garbage. That's power. She stormed out, forgetting to feign sickness for the cameras. Josie was alone. She dropped the ruined chart in the trash and rubbed her temples. Old memories, long sealed, seeped through cracks Tara had opened, crashing over her in waves. After a daze, the walkie-talkie crackled passenger in need at the gate. She inhaled, boxed the chaos away, lifted her trauma bag, and headed out. Sometimes work was the safest anesthetic. She pulled a double shift until dawn. Every push notification screamed the same headline. Bakerest's prettiest brand and hottest captain to wed nation sends blessings. The more York dodge, the more the universe shoves it in your face. Her stomach churned. She set the phone down and dry-heaved into the restroom, realizing her period was weeks late. She fished a pregnancy test from the drug cabinet, disappeared into the toilet, and watched 2 red lines darken. Her mind blanked. Pregnant? Knock knock. She stuffed the stick into her purse just as the door opened. Air traffic controller Chase stepped in. Isn't Sterling your guy? Why's he marrying Tara? He asked bluntly, obviously here for that exact reason. Josie's eyes dimmed. We broke up. Though technically only since yesterday. Chase hesitated, wishing he hadn't poked the wound. Plenty of trees in the forest. One falls, the rest circle York. He murmured, gentle. She said nothing, hearing what he left unsaid. A cold wind whipped the doorway, she hugged herself. Storm's rolling in. I'll drive York. He draped his coat over her shoulders and steered her to the garage. Her head was soup-positive test plus all-nighter, so she let him. At her condo complex she thanked him and slipped into the elevator. Exhausted, she planned a shower then a lab check, but Lucas occupied her sofa. The ashtray overflowed, stale smoke clogged the air. How did York get in? She demanded. He exhaled a slow stream. If I weren't here, I'd never know York stay out all night. I was on duty. The excuse left her lips before she remembered she owed him nothing. His gaze slid over Chase's jacket draped on her, lip curling. Pulling an all-nighter in Chase's arms? Josie's breath hitched. Sterling, we're broken up. Back off. Did he think everyone swapped partners like changing flights? York two don't fit. Keep your distance, he ordered. She shot him a frosty glare and turned toward the bedroom. He grabbed her wrist, knocking her purse. The test stick skittered across the rug. Panic flared, she lunged, too late. Lucas picked it up, eyes narrowing to slits. York pregnant? The chill in his voice rattled her bones. 7 years together, never a scare, and now, after the breakup, this. Perfect timing, relax. I'll terminate. She reached for the stick, voice flat. Something flickered in his fathomless eyes. Have the baby. Chapter 5, Because York Still Love Me. Josie froze, disbelieving. What? She thought she'd misheard, but his next words were even more surreal. My mother wants a grandchild. Tara's career is peaking, she won't risk a pregnancy for years. Give us the child and I'll compensate York. His face was stone. Sterling, do York even hear yourself? She stared at the man who had once been her whole world. Tonight he felt like a stranger. Name a figure. How much do York want? Lucas ignored her question, pulling a certified check from his pocket. Josie laughed, the sound bitter. 7 years of my life wiped out for $500,000, and now York think the same trick will work for the baby inside me? His life is my call. If I want him, he lives. If I don't, nobody can stop me. Each word cracked like ice. A film of tears glazed her reddened eyes. Lucas studied her for a full minute before his thin lips parted. If I remember right, the doctor said your uterine wall is naturally thin. 1 DNC could leave York sterile for life. Josie flinched, the numb ache in her chest flaring anew. He still remembered, not from love, but because it served his own ends. The film became rivulets that streaked her face. York think I can't feel, can't cry, she rasped. I gave York the best 7 years a woman has, and York tossed them away. Now York want me to birth your child. Why? The only reason York ever ran my life is because I loved York. Lucas's brows drew together, the look in his eyes unreadable. At last he said nothing, turned, and walked out, leaving only the ghost of cigarette smoke behind. The click of the door sent Josie sliding to the floor. She buried her face between her knees and sobbed. The ugliest part of love isn't that he stopped loving York. It's that he swore he did, then trashed York for sport, trading on the love York still carried. 7 years, traded for this. The cold room held nothing but a woman's broken crying. Josie spent a day and a night cobbling herself back together, then phoned the hospital to schedule the termination. She would never bear a child for a man who'd fallen for someone else, even if that man had once been the moon and stars she'd wished upon. They were finished, root and branch. Next morning she walked into the OR alone, no one waited for her. 2 hours later she staggered from the recovery ward, cramps buckling her knees. The image of that tiny, bloodied cluster clawed at her, a dull, endless ache. Baby, next time pick a better mother, one who can give York a whole family. She steadied herself to leave, but the elevator doors had barely parted when a rough hand yanked her into the stairwell. Her back slammed against the wall, a fresh stab of pain shot through her abdomen. York aborted him just like that, no more thought than stepping on a weed? Lucas loomed above her, fury darkening his face. I told York his life was mine to decide, she hissed. A ringtone cut the air. She glanced at the screen, Chase calling. Lucas flicked a look at the name, his gaze glacial. Eager to run to the next guy? Chase is younger, his mother's old school. She'll never take a daughter-in-law who's had a termination. Don't say I didn't warn York. His words sliced her open, heart, already numb, bled. My life is none of your business. Straightening her thin frame, she brushed past him and out of the stairwell. She shut the door, shutting him out of her heart for good. Curled on the sofa, she let the tears fall without sound. How had she fallen for such a man and stayed there for years? Much later, her phone rang again. Instinct told her to reject it until she saw the caller ID. Hello, Morgan. Miss Rowan, your mother slipped out of psychiatric again. Chapter 6. Josie shot up, pain flaring in her pelvis, cold sweat beating her skin. No time for it. I'm on my way. She hung up, then wheeled back to the bedroom and pulled on every heavy layer she owned. More fabric meant fewer bruises when her mother struck. By the time she arrived, the staff had cornered Eleanor and locked her in a side ward. Don't touch me any of York. I'm going home, to my husband. Some cheap slut's luring him away. Eleanor thrashed, face twisted, eyes blood red. Seeing Josie in the doorway, she lunged and slapped her twice. Danielle, York bitch. Stealing my man, die, just die. Frenzied, she clawed, pinched, kicked. Josie absorbed the blows, as always, only today, post-surgery, every strike felt electric. Mom, it's me, Josie, your daughter. She whispered. At the name, Eleanor snatched the chart from the bedside table and swung it at her head. York no child of mine. My girl is dead. Danielle drowned her. I'll make that witch pay. Josie didn't duck, a nurse yanked her sideways. The metal edge grazed her cheek, burning. An orderly pinned Eleanor and plunged a sedative into her arm. The tirade slurred into silence. Miss Rowan, let's get that cut looked at, the nurse urged. Josie managed a smile. No need. I'm used to it. The shimmer in her eyes betrayed her. Outside the ward, the doctor warned, Eleanor's mind and body were failing fast. Unless the heart heals, this can't end well. Josie nodded. Thank York for everything. She reached home at midnight. A text chimed, happy birthday, from her carrier. Only then did she understand why Eleanor had fled, desperate to get home. Today was her birthday. Years ago, on her 10th, Eleanor had discovered Charles with Danielle. The birthday cake had ended up smeared across Danielle's bare skin. Charles answered with fists. Danielle, vengeful, shoved Josie and her little sister into the pond. No time for screams. Josie woke to a sister gone, a mother broken. Danielle marched into Rowan Manor with Tara, mistress turned queen, no shred of guilt. Josie never celebrated another birthday. Ignoring the ache, she rummaged for candles and lit 3. Eyes shut, palms pressed, let this year be kinder to Mom and me. Legend says York must snuff them in one breath, Josie needed 3. Smoke stung her eyes, tears slipped free. Seems heaven has no pity left. Chapter 7. She sat awake in the hush, waiting for dawn. Between body and heart, she couldn't face Baycrest, she filed for annual leave. Then her landlord called, the condo had sold, she had to vacate, penalty paid in full. Josie exhaled, unsurprised. She began to pack, fragile body moving on autopilot. This was the place she had shared with Lucas for 7 years, brimming with memories of the two of them growing from green teenagers into familiar lovers. A new environment would be a clean farewell to everything that had gone before. Knock knock knock. A rap came from outside the door. She assumed it was the movers, but when she opened it she found Tara, whom she hadn't seen in ages. Tara stepped in uninvited, slipping off her sunglasses and clicking across the floor on stilettos while she surveyed the place. Moving out? Planning to vanish from Baycrest altogether? Josie's brows drew together, she had no energy to waste words on this woman. Say what York came to say, then get out. Tara curved her scarlet lips, the eyes rimmed in precise liner flashing a trace of gloom before they locked on Josie's flat abdomen. I heard York just had a termination, so I came especially to see York. Why drive me away, big sis? Josie lifted a hand, face blank, and pointed toward the door. Out. Tara's smile soured, she had come to watch Josie wilt, yet it seemed she was the one left frustrated. People really shouldn't crave what isn't theirs, neither family affection nor love. See? I've taken everything, the Rowan estate, Daddy's love, and Lucas, the perfect man. Tara gloated, then whispered at Josie's ear, plus, I bought this condo. I told the landlord to kick York out. Every syllable stabbed, arrogant and cruel. Josie forced down the bitterness and rage, staring coldly at the woman quivering with delight. Your mother was a mistress, and so are York, like mother, like daughter. York play White Lotus beside Lucas, but don't think no one remembers York crawling into the director's bed back then. Before she could finish, Tara's face drained white, in shame and fury she swung to slap her. Josie raised her arm and landed a slap-first crack. York hit me? Tara froze, tears swimming as though she'd suffered some monstrous wrong. Save the act. Lucas might buy it, I don't. The moment Josie spoke, Tara was shielded behind someone. Lucas's tall, athletic frame blocked her completely, his chilled, sharp gaze pinned on Josie. Rara came in kindness, don't throw her goodwill back in her face, he said, voice flat. Josie tugged one corner of her mouth. I don't need her fake pity. Kindly keep your woman on a leash, Sterling, so she stops barking at strangers. Lucas's face darkened until it seemed it could drip ice. If York dare bully Rara again, York know exactly how far I'll go. He gathered the shuddering Tara and walked out without a backward glance. Nestled against his arm, Tara shot Josie a victor smirk. Josie drew a slow breath, blinking away the stinging mist. When the last box was gone she felt drained to the core. The wretched leave finally ended, and her body had improved a fraction. She fixed her face and mood and headed for the airport, but before she reached the medical center Chase caught her arm. Your dad came by a few days ago and filed your resignation, did York know? Chapter 8. Josie's lungs stalled, shock blanked her face. My dad? The word felt alien, awkward on her tongue. Chase nodded. Claimed it was family issues, so he decided for York. York weren't picking up, and I couldn't tell if it was your idea or his power trip. Josie pulled a thin smile, an indescribable taste in her mouth. She went to HR to explain, but they had already hired a replacement. Sort your family situation first, we'll review rehiring later, HR said. A sour mix of emotions swirling, she had no choice but to comply. Clutching the resignation her father had signed, she hailed a cab to Rowan Manor. Ever since Tara and her mother had moved in, her relationship with Charles had deteriorated until, right after the college entrance exam, she'd cut the tie. He'd ignored her for years, sworn she was no daughter of his, so why was he now using that hollow title to strip her of her job? Josie couldn't puzzle it out. Rowan Manor. Ignoring the housekeeper's awkward stare, she walked straight in. Charles was fussing over his potted plants. Hearing footsteps, he beamed, assuming Tara was home. Back, darling dash, he spun, smile collapsing the instant he saw Josie. What are York doing here? The switch carved a scornful laugh inside her chest. Why resign for me? She demanded without preamble. Charles set down the watering can, irritation stamped on his face. How dare York ask? Rara and Lucas are about to marry. How would it look if York still worked at the airport? York'd ruin her reputation and her love. Every syllable carved a fresh wound. My job offends her, Mr. Rowan? Since York V never treated me as a daughter, don't hide behind that fake role to hijack my life. Her mother killed my little sister and drove my mom insane, yet York sided with her. She stole my fiancé and York call it romance, while I, who bother no one, lose my livelihood. Why? The words tore from her throat, every past cruelty and present injustice fused into a single howl. Tara and I share your blood, we're both your daughters. Why are your words always blades to me, never once the warmth of a father? Tears coursed down as she sobbed uncontrollably, the fresh hurt braided with every wrong she'd swallowed since childhood. Slapdash. Charles's martial arts hardened palm sent her sprawling. Her forehead struck the table edge, blood sheeted down. He never spared her a glance, simply snatched the watering can and hurled it at her. Wretched ingrate, get out. Spewing the same lunacy as your mother, nothing but bad luck. He strode into the living room and slammed the door. The crash hacked at her heart like a dull blade. It felt as if her heart had been gouged out. Josie never knew how she left Rowan Manor. She drifted along the street, the blood on her forehead crusted into an ugly black scab. A black sedan screeched to the curb, two men in black leapt out, clamped a towel over her mouth and dragged her inside. Dash. She had no time to fight before darkness swallowed her. Chapter 9. Groggy and heavy-headed. She woke bound in an abandoned factory. In front of her sat Tara, dressed in black from head to toe. Awake, sis? Tara cooed, her smile laced with frost. Josie watched her warily. York? What do York want? Relax, just a cozy chat between sisters. After your little visit, Daddy's blood pressure shot sky-high. Impressive. Tara delivered the words in sing-song venom. Josie seized on the key point. York told him to resign me? I only mentioned York still carry a torch for Lucas, and Daddy rushed to map out my happy ending. Tara preened. Tara, what the hell are York after? Josie snapped. What do I want? Tara's voice chilled the air. Why, dear sister, I want to pull the problem up by the roots. The instant she finished, two hulking men stepped from the shadows, grins ugly and wide. I secretly booked a movie role, lots of steamy scenes. York can shoot them for me, Dad will forgive York once it's done. The men closed in, hands already reaching for the waistband of her jeans. York insane. Don't dash. Panic flooded Josie, she thrashed wildly. Tara cupped a hand over her mouth and giggled. Don't be shy, sis. Group play is a total rush, try it once and York'll be begging for round 2. The man stripping off his shirt twisted toward her with a wicked smirk. Babe, the two of us still didn't fill York up? Stop it. Tara cooed. I'm going to be Mrs. Captain soon, so watch what York say. Josie froze, every word hammering her like ice water dumped over her head. Tara, does your so-called brand face matter at all? What about Lucas? She demanded. Tara blinked, then burst into tinkling laughter. Wow. Josie, are York dumb or just playing stupid? My brand status buys me everything, money, fame, whatever. Lucas is rich and gullible. I'll just book a quick virginity repair before the vows, and he'll keep treating me like some 18-year-old princess, ha ha ha. Men think with their pants. A few new tricks in bed and every last one kneels at my feet. Only then did Josie realize Tara's real self was fouler than she'd ever imagined. Psycho. Karma will find York and your mother too. Josie screamed. The laughter snapped off. Tara sprang up and slashed a vicious backhand across her face. Call me crazy again and see how long York live, she hissed, features twisted. The men, eager to please, lunged and groped Josie. Don't touch me. This is assault. York'd rather be Tara's lapdogs than human beings? Josie roared, dodging in desperation. Her words hit nerves, the men hesitated, backing off. Tara was about to explode when her phone vibrated. She glanced at the screen, eyes glittering. Josie, sweet news, your psycho mommy just got tired of living. She shut the glowing phone at Josie. In the clip, Eleanor stood on the psychiatric rooftop, then stepped off without a second's pause. 10-inch mom dash. Josie's shriek tore the air. A surge of blood slammed her chest, she blacked out. The men shook her limp body, shooting nervous glances at Tara. Rongjia, if she dies, this blows up. Useless trash. Tara drove a stiletto into his shin. Dump her at the ER door now. She'd kept this little revenge stunt secret from her mother, a corpse would stink. With this lesson and Eleanor's jump, Josie would surely flee Baycrest. Relief loosened Tara's shoulders. Beep beep beep. Monitors pulsed around her. Josie pried her eyes open, finding herself in a hospital bed. Mom. The final image flooded back. York awake. Any pain? Chase stepped closer, voice tight with worry. Josie shook her head, empty eyes drifting to him. My mother. She rasped. He faltered, words sticking. York still weak. Rest first. Auntie, she. He couldn't finish. I have to see her. Understanding sliced through, Josie fought to rise, but Chase held her down. Don't. It's over. Nobody can change it. Maybe, for her, it was release. He sighed, pity and heartbreak clouding his gaze. Josie shut her eyes, pain twisted her pallid face. Mom was all I had left. She choked. Chase folded her into his arms, helpless against her grief. It'll get better. A nurse entered to change the 4, clicking on the wall-mounted TV for company. The local bulletin froze Josie - Prince of the Skies Captain Lucas and Baycrest wed in 3 days. Ceremony aboard a Sterling jet at 30,000 feet. The couple on-screen smiled, arms linked. Josie's face drained of color. Chase killed the power, tongue-tied. Alex. He whispered. She bit her lip until copper bloomed, glare fixed on the dead screen. A white wedding gown, exchanging rings above the clouds, her lifelong fantasy. She'd once gushed the dream to Lucas, he'd sworn to fulfill it even if they never married. Now he was handing that dream to another woman. To the viper who'd laughed while Eleanor fell. Fury ignited behind Josie's eyes. She fisted the sheet, voice steady. Chase, can York find me a black morning dress? Some scores needed settling, every debt owed the mother and daughter would be paid. Chase's brows drew tight as he stood. I'll get it right now. He didn't know her plan, but whatever she needed, he'd give. 3 days later, Baycrest. Sunshine drenched the airfield, the control tower glinting like a blade. A small airliner wore garlands of blush pink roses, balloon hearts lined the runway and a crimson L for Tara's last name. Crowds of her superfans thrummed with excitement, cameras live-streaming every angle of the sky-high fairy tale wedding. In tailored captain's uniform, Lucas escorted his bride along the crimson carpet toward the boarding stairs, beauty and power incarnate. Just before they stepped up, a figure in black morning dress emerged. Under 1,000 stairs, Josie advanced, one measured footfall after another down the carpet. 11 bringing a gift. 12 total ruin. 13 all I could do. 14 loving both sisters. 15 nothing but fail. 16 just be ordinary. 17 waiting for York to wake. 18 offer my life. 19 Close that chapter. 20 That woman. 21 My only friend. 22 Learning to accept York. 23 A past we can't return to. 24 Unforgivable sin. 25 Two timing. 26 York make me sick. 28 Look back at me. 29 Aiming for marriage. 30 From princess to weed. 31 Never see York again. 32 I won't let York off. 33 Let's go home. 34 York don't remember me? 35 Older woman, gold mine. 36 Mother's wish. 37 Worry for nothing. 38 Confession and crash. 39 Kneeling and pleading. 40 Save yourself. 41 No room for optimism. 42 A future worth wanting.